Hello, everyone. Welcome to BayernNow, the ultimate Bayern Munich fan channel. Someone says I'm becoming one of those cringe thumbnail people. What, you want me to put Bayern first and ruin the experience? Come on, man. You got to add some, is this going to happen? Oh, he really thinks this? Some curiosity out there. So, it's my Bundesliga prediction. What's going to happen next season? We're going to be predicting all the teams' positions, where they finish, and who gets into the Champions League, who gets relegated. See, it's not just about Bayern and who wins the league. It's also about who gets relegated and loses a bunch of money in the second division. So it's going to be fun. I have been putting this off. I was wondering, should I make a video or should I do a live stream? And I thought, if I made a video, there's no interaction. I want this to be interactive. I want your opinions in there. If you're watching this after the stream, put them down in the comments. I'm curious. I've been looking at other teams' transfers, and I'm coming to the conclusion that I know exactly where every team is going to finish. In fact, bet your money on my opinions right now. Bet your money, all your monies. Bet it on my opinions. I know everything. So this is my season prediction. I think it's better if we started with lower tier. Now, the teams here could be incorrect. In that case, I would look like a complete piece of crap. But I think there were only two teams that got promoted from the lower division because Hertha Berlin won their relegation game. Honestly, man, it was Schalke and was it Mainz? No, we played Mainz last season. Who was the other team? I'm so confused. Was it Werder Bremen? It was Werder Bremen. That makes sense because we played Bochum this last season. So how this is going to work is champion is obviously first place. Podium is top four. So the three teams that get into the top four apart from the champion. And then Europe will be Europa League. Remember, 2 Bundesliga teams can qualify for the Europa League. Mid-table will be 7th to 14th. Relegation will be the last 3 teams that add up and get us to 18 Bundesliga teams, or 4 teams. So that's how it's going to work. I think it's only natural. I ask you, who do you think will win the Champions League? No, not Champions League, the Bundesliga, which is the German Champions League, if you really think about it, because it's the league, the top league in Germany. Okay, I want to see your tables before I do mine, because that could be helpful. And also, who do you think had the best transfer window? Obviously, Bayern, but I think there's some teams people aren't considering. Teams around mid-table last season made some really good improvements. Some teams you'll be hearing about a lot in this video. They're saying Bayern, Dortmund. Wait, you're saying Dortmund wins the league? You're out of your mind. My man, you're out of your mind, G. If there were to be a team that won the league, it wouldn't be Bayern, or it wouldn't be Dortmund. A team that won the league apart from Bayern. You know what? Let me stop talking. I'll get to your comments in a second. But let me start here. So I think a lot of teams made some key improvements to their teams. I think we have some strong teams in the Bundesliga, but not every team is going to be strong. There's going to be a team that gets relegated. I don't want this to happen, but I think the first contender for relegation for me is going to be Schalke. Can anyone name a single Schalke player in that team? If you can, I'm giving you $10 right now. Name one. Apart from Amin Harit, name a single Schalke player. $5. So this is what happens when teams get relegated. They lose out on the good players they had in a relegation team. So they go from bad to worse and really bad. So when they come back up because they're better than every other team in the second division, they tend to struggle because they have to find players at the same level that they were at before to try to, so the only thing they can really rely on is their multi-million-dollar high facility youth academy. That's what they can rely on. But is there any youth coming out of Schalke? Not really. I don't want. What am I saying? I don't watch Schalke. I didn't watch Schalke at all while they were relegated. I used to watch them while they were in the Bundesliga. Whenever there was a game between Schalke and Dortmund, I was watching, or Leipzig and Schalke. Those are always big games. But in my opinion, man, they have no money. They got promoted, but Werder Bremen gets promoted every year. They win the Bundesliga 2 title, crazy. Well, congratulations to Werder Bremen for getting promoted next season, because they'll get relegated next season, or this season. So my humble opinion, how this is going to work is from left to right is going to be, so this is my 15th position. 3 more teams are going to get in here. Do I think Schalke is going to do better than Werder Bremen? There's only one way to find out. Do I think Schalke will do better than Werder Bremen? Hold on. You know what? There's only one way to find out. There's only one way to find out. Go to Transfermarkt, and I need to see something. I don't care. Accept all the cookies. Werder Bremen. See, the problem with Bremen, they're one of those teams we always put like 5 goals past them. Transfers, they got Niklas Stark from Hertha Berlin. So, man, they did lose some players. They lost a center back to, I don't know this club, man, some Polish club. Just read the name, sounds Polish. Toprak. I didn't even know Toprak played for Werder. No, I did. Man, dude, they got some free transfers. And this is typically what happens when you really just have no money. You just get a bunch of free players. They're usually not the best. The most money they spent was on Jens Stage. I don't know who this is, but if they're spending 4.4 million on him, that's probably their club record fee. Then I think they're the club that's probably going to beat Schalke and get ahead of them. Schalke, on the other hand, signed, look at this. They got some loan signings. Tom Kroos from Leipzig. Florent Molet, a midfielder. But the free transfers, they lost Kabak to Hoffenheim. But they made some money there. Matondo, isn't this the winger they got that was supposed to be the next Sancho? Honestly, I think Werder just have more experience, and they're going to be ahead of Schalke, and they're probably going to be in a relegation fight. This is from 15th to 18th, so I misspoke. It's actually 3 teams. I think Schalke is going to be 16th. Bro, I just don't trust them, and I think Bochum is going to be at the bottom. Stuttgart might be there, but Stuttgart have that coach, the Italian-American dude. They're a much better team. I'm not going to underestimate Stuttgart, but Bochum, Schalke, and Werder Bremen, they're just, I think they're all relegation food, man. I think Schalke is going to concede so many goals, man. I would put Hertha Berlin there, but I feel like their players are just higher value, and if they need to, they're going to splash in January to stay up. And I think Hertha kind of learned a lesson. If don't forget, Hertha Berlin were buying up everyone. They were buying a lot of good players. Now, of course, they didn't really buy anyone new this transfer window, but the team they have can stay up. I think Piatek is still there. And then you have Selke, decent striker, nothing to really brag about. They have Luka Bacchio. Is Luka Bacchio still there? I don't think so. And Tossard, a decent midfield. Okay, so I think this is how the league is going to look. Oh, I think this view is better. Okay, mid-table. This is where it gets interesting because Frankfurt finished mid-table last season, still won the Europa League. Freiburg finished 7th. They're in the Champions League or Europa League, I think. Mainz finished mid-table. Mönchengladbach finished like 13th. I'm not exactly sure. I'll be honest. The only teams I've been keeping tabs on as it relates to transfers, Frankfurt, Bayern, Union Berlin, because their transfers are just funny. It's just a bunch of white dudes. Leipzig. I looked at Hoffenheim a little bit. I mean, losing out on Tyler Adams to Crystal Palace is something they're going to suffer. I think Adams was a good player for them. So like I said, this is Europa League. So it's 2 teams, 3 teams here and 1 team here. So it only makes sense that this is mid-table would be 8th to, so more teams in mid-table than any other position. Because really, when you're 8th, you don't really get anything. There's no Europa League. You don't get anything special. You're just 8th. So honestly, since it's 8th to 15th, God, that's a lot of teams. I should have done high mid-table and low mid-table. And now that I mention it, I think I should do that. At a row below, low mid-table. That's what we're going to call this. Lower mid-table. So this is going to be from 10th to 15th. Oh, no. Maybe not 10th. Maybe, you know what? Let's just put it like that. We can figure the math out later. Dude, I'm stupid, man. My brain isn't working correctly. So Mönchengladbach, I have not paid attention to their transfers. This is why I'm doing this live. If this is a video, you don't get this. See how my brain works. They do have a good team. Nijhuis is a good player. I just want to look at who they brought in. I mean, at least they sold more than they brought in. Embolo left to, Monaco. I would not have looked at that and saw that happening at the beginning of the transfer window. That's interesting. I didn't know. They bought a center back from Man City. They got a midfielder. They don't really need Embolo that bad. They still have Thuram. Who else do they still have? Nijhuis is still there, linked to Bayern heavily. Elvedi still a crazy good center back. This Cohn guy came in to replace Zakaria. He's also a really good bowler. I think he's been there for maybe 2 seasons now. So he's just the next guy in line to replace Zakaria. So I think this season, because they lost their manager, they were underwhelming. But I think Mönchengladbach will finally beat a team that's not Bayern. That's for sure. So I don't think they'll be lower mid-table. A team I do think will finish low mid-table, and I know this is probably going to surprise a lot of people, but it's going to be Augsburg. Bro, that's where they finish every season. So they're going to be, what position is this? We're just going to put teams where we think they're going to go. I think Augsburg is a team that will finish in those lower positions. I think Hertha Berlin won't get relegated. They'll barely improve, but they didn't sign anyone huge, so they'll finish. Actually, I think Hertha might finish better or above Augsburg. They won't get relegated. They're just lower mid-table. And if I'm being honest as well, Cologne, man, this team is. Look, they can do some good things, but then they're just never consistent, and I think that's their biggest problem. Mainz, they have what's his name, Boetius. They have some really decent players, and I actually want to look at their transfer business because it's crucial. Looking at transfers, who did Mainz bring in? There's actually a lot of players named Mainz apparently. So they brought in some central midfielders, 3 million, 2 million. They spent 15 million, but they lost Niakate. Oh, man, they lost Juste. Oh, crap. Yeah, dude, I didn't know they lost Juste. He's one of their better center backs to Porto. Niakate to Forest. Yeah, man. Oh, I don't know about that. Boetius, he's without club. Was he never a good player? Did I get... Who am I thinking about at Mainz that I'm mistaking for Boetius? I don't know, because from some universe in my head, He was like their best player. So he's without club now. That's weird. He's a free agent. Interesting. They bought Co from Frankfurt. I can't. Wow. Dang. Okay. So I think this is gonna happen. I think that's what's gonna happen. I've amended the list. I think mines are gonna finish low, mid-table, almost relegated. Actually, I mean, now that I'm thinking about it, Werder Bremen could sneak in a better performance than Mainz. Now, these are just predictions, so we don't know this for sure. Forsberg is RB Leipzig level. Forsberg is one of the worst players in the league. George would love Poulsen. Wait, fellas, I would hate Poulsen. Oh, you're doing that thing where you do the opposite of what I would want, just to troll me or something. Freaking pricks. Okay, so I think Hertha is going to be there, but they're going to be outperformed by Hoffenheim. Now, as much as Hoffenheim didn't do that much business, let's look at their business. I have not kept up with Hoffenheim's transfers. I just know they didn't get Chris Richards, but they got Kabak, so that's good. Ram is off to Leipzig for $28 million. Pretty good deal. I wonder how they're going to replace Ram because he was their top assist person. Oh, they have Justin Che. Interesting. He's a center back. He's young. Is he on loan? Man, Dallas is really good at, good doing these business deals with these Bundesliga clubs. FC Dallas is good at this. Beibou's still there. So they still have Beibou. Oh my goodness. Okay. Samaseku, this guy was a freaking problem. Okay, so look, Hoffenheim will definitely be competing for Europe. They will. Now, I don't know about Wolfsburg. Fellas, I didn't look. We're doing this live together. I'm sorry I don't care about Wolfsburg's transfers. I should. Oh, they got Kimmich, decent left winger, but they did lose Schlager to Leipzig, and then Mbambu's going to Frankfurt. I don't think that's going to be a big miss. They signed some. It's a lot of diversity. Got rid of the black players. No, I'm joking. They have a team. That's what I'll say. Yeah, they have a central midfielder. They bought some wingers. Arminia Bielefeld lost a winger, so Bielefeld. That's actually really interesting. Did they get anyone else? Because I feel like they signed more. Oh, central. They got a kid from Augsburg's academy. Germany needs a striker. So if this kid is good, look, Germany needs a striker, someone that's like young and talented. France has an array of strikers. Our newest strikers from France. So here's how the table looks so far. Union Berlin, I think, will be there, getting in the Europa League. I don't even. So here's what I think. I think it's going to look like this. Wolfsburg will be better than Hertha, and that's going to make up the mid-table. I'm going to come back to this and add some clubs into the conversation. But people are saying, "Where's Lewandowski? He's not here." Okay, this is where it gets interesting. Because look, as much as Gladbach underperformed last season, I think the players they have to be in the Europa League. But before we get into that, we have to add some teams in. I don't know how to do math. I don't know how to do math. Okay, I need two teams in here. Oh crap. Okay, let me do Europa League first because that makes it easier. I don't know if Frankfurt has the quality to get into the Champions League, so I think they'll be in the Europa League. And also, I think Gladbach will outperform all these teams and get high mid-table. They'll be competing for the Europa League position. Okay. Now that I think about it, I think Mainz might finish higher than Augsburg, to be honest. Augsburg will almost get relegated. So again, the ratings are going from left to right. So this would be 16th, 17th, and 18th. This would be. Look, we'll count it when we finish. I'm confused right now, man. it's hard doing a tier list when you're trying to number, club. I should have just done 18 spots and finished, put the teams in those spots. Leipzig, Stuttgart. I don't know where Stuttgart will finish. You know what? I don't think they'll. Yeah, I think they'll try. They'll do better this season than the last season. But I'm gonna put them here because I don't really know where to put them. I think they're better than Hertha Berlin for sure. They have that Wamantugu guy who lied about his age or something. Was that him? Like he's really like 40 and he said he was 20. How do you get that piece of information? How does that happen? Oh, they bought Mavropanos from Arsenal, decent. Wagnerman from Hamburger. Oh, they got some signings. I mean, every Bundesliga club has a transfer window like this. Sell one of your top players to a club for like 14 mil, 15, 20 million, and then get a bunch of players for 2 million, 3 million. Basically, you made up for it. So they still have Tanguy Koulibaly, decent winger. Remember when we played Stuttgart and he was cooking us? They still have Wamantugu, who's really Silas. Bonus Sosar. If they keep him, then, man, Stuttgart are going to be hitting places. And actually, now that I think about it, there's a real chance that they get higher than some of these teams out here. I think with the coach they have, I mean, they were playing some good football. They could do better. I'll get to your comments in a second. So now we move on. I think one more mid-table team. It's between Union Berlin and Freiburg. So now they're competing for 8th. I think Freiburg is good. And I don't think Union Berlin have what it takes. I think they're going to get high mid-table between Mönchengladbach. Look, Union signed a bunch of players. They're a good team. They have the passionate fan base, which is why they stayed in the Bundesliga. Because when they came in, I was like, they're going to get relegated or something. And they just stayed and did what they had to do. Their transfer window, they signed. They lost Iwayoni or Iwanayi. I forgot how to say his name. I used to be able to say it because one of the hard names to pronounce. They got a guy from Young Boy, Diego Leite on loan. Every Bundesliga club has a positive spend. That's part of our problem. We sell a lot of players to the Premier League, and then they become trash. And then they look at us like, oh, see, flops, Bundesliga flops. Okay, so Iwayoni, I don't know. The commentator used to say his name. All right, now this is where it gets interesting. I think Freiburg comfortably get 7th. The reason I put Frankfurt there, I'll explain later. They just have the team for it. And now we get to the top 4. The top 4 teams in the league. Wow, this is going to surprise a lot of people. Look, let's all be honest here. Bayern Munich spent 150 million. We have to win the league. I know we want the league to be more competitive, but I'm putting us there so people don't get bored and say, "Oh, you're making us wait." That's how it's going to be. The teams that are around here are going to be competing for different spots. I happen to think RB Leipzig need a central midfielder that can actually play football and pass the ball. Campbell's decent. He's all right at the ball progression thing, but he's not it. He is no good. I think they need to go to Salzburg and buy one of their midfielders. Leipzig are desperately in need of a midfielder that operates like Jorginho. They need that. But they have a good team, and they're not going to struggle against the likes of Mainz and Cologne and Augsburg. They're never going to struggle against Schalke and Werder Bremen and Bochum. They're going to struggle against Bayern, Dortmund, teams with good midfields that also press and can go to combat. And with Rom at left back and losing Angelino, they don't really improve. They stay the same. I think Angelino Despite the fact that I think he can lose the ball a little bit too easily, I still think he's one of the good players. I mean, Rom is good. He loses the ball, but yeah, he can still do things. But man, if you look at Leipzig's transfer window, they got Xavier Schlager, and that's it. They're like every other Bundesliga club. I'm not kidding, man. Just sell one player, and it's not like they didn't have any profit from the past. Leipzig should be one of the teams spending millions. With Rom coming in, I still think they need a midfielder. They have to get one. That's going to give a platform to players like Nkunku. They sold Brabi, Tyler Adams, Nordi Mukwele, players that weren't really good for them. They actually profited off of Brabi because they got him for free. His contract expired at Ajax. And then they loaned him back to Ajax. And then Ajax paid 18 million for him. That's 4D chess right there. This is a club founded in 2009, and they're doing that to one of the most experienced clubs in the world. They also loaned some players out, but really, if you look at this list, they made more money, 30 plus million. They should be buying one of the better midfielders in the world. They should be getting a good right back and to replace Mukwele. They also got rid of He Chan Wang actually, and they didn't replace him. So for that reason, but they have Tedesco, so I'm going to put them. They're going to finish second. I think Leipzig will finish second. They were the best Bundesliga team in 2022. And I don't think that's going to change by a whole lot, apart from the fact that Bayern are forced to perform better. I think Dortmund get third, Leverkusen get fourth place. By the way, if you don't know, there's going to be 5 Bundesliga teams in the Champions League next year because Frankfurt won the Europa League. So that's going to be fun because that guarantees that at least one of those Bundesliga teams has to go through to the round of 16s, and then another one could, and then another one. We could really have 3 Bundesliga teams in the group stages, or not group stages, the knockout rounds. That would be fun. We need that. The league needs that. Oh, let's move Hertha Berlin here to balance out the table a little bit more. I think these teams are going to be fighting for relegation. I think these teams are going to get lower mid-table. These teams are going to get the actual mid-table, like upper mid-table. So this is like 8th place, 9th place, 10th place, 11th place, 12th place. This is 13th, 14th, 15th, 16th, 17th, 18th, 19th, 20th. I actually think these are good predictions. Hey, come back to this video. I'm right. This is exactly how the league's going to look. And the reason I put Frankfurt here is because, dude, Eintracht Frankfurt have low-key done some good business. I think they lost more money, or they brought in more money. No, not yet. They made more money. Or no, they lost more money. My bad. But they signed this guy, Randall Kolo Muani. He was linked to AC Milan, linked to some really good clubs, and now he plays for Frankfurt. Already has 1 assist in the DFB Pokal, playing 23 minutes. That's already a good start. But if you look at his Liga appearances, he's a decent player, man. 12 goals last season in Liga. And guess what? He's playing for Nantes. So this isn't one of those top teams creating chances. He has 5 assists. He's getting goals consistently. And then the season before that, he got 9 goals, 8 assists. And he's 23. So this is a young center forward. He's also fast, highly technical. 18 goals as a striker in 63 games. And guess what? He's playing for a low-tier team. You got to understand that. 12 assists, right winger. He's very, very, he's actually worth 17 million. And Frankfurt signed him on a free. That's crazy. Jens Peter Hage, I don't really rate him as highly because I think he's good with the ball, but he doesn't do much. He was one of those youngsters that, oh man, he was linked to AC Milan, linked to Bayern at some point, linked to Dortmund. He has a lot of goals as a left winger. He came up in like 2020 around that time, and everyone was talking about him. And he went to so Frankfurt signed him and loaned him to Milan, or I might be wrong. Milan signed him and loaned him to Frankfurt, and he's now staying. It might be the other way around. I'm not sure. Then they got Götze from Eredivisie, that's another good player that's coming in. Hungary, of course, he's going to get injured the first game, but he's going to add experience. So in those tough games, that World Cup experience is going to come in handy, and he's going to control their midfield. They also bought Alario from Leverkusen. I think, you know what, actually, I think Frankfurt could even finish in the Champions League spot. I mean, the way they won that Europa League and played against West Ham, if they could apply that form to the league, that'd be crazy. And the reason they couldn't apply the form to the league was because they didn't have the squad for it. Now they have more players. Of course, you lost players like Da Costa and some of these guys, but these aren't big losses. They still have Kostic, and it looks like they're trying to get rid of him. They have Knauf at right back. So, dude, I'm telling you, this is going to be one of the teams to watch out for. And the manager's good. Glasner's a decent coach. The back three works for them really well. Ndika is still there. Kostic, all their high-valued players. Daichi Kamada, for me, is one of the best players in the Bundesliga. People don't know this. This guy's on another level. The way he played in that Europa League was sensational. I really, really believe Daichi Kamada should be on, that Heung-min Son level when it comes to Asian players, dude. I think if he was playing for a bigger club, he would get rated more. Flip me. It's my birthday. Happy birthday, Titan. Happy birthday to Titan in the chat. Everyone spam that. Oh, man, Kamada's amazing. He's so technical. The way he keeps the ball, everything about him is so good. I mean, I want to look at his stats, actually. Because, stats don't tell you anything. But, I mean, Europa League, 5 goals, 1 assist. But, bro, his chance creation was on another level. Bundesliga, 5 goals. He would get 6 goals, 2 goals. Bro, if Kamada is, does he get injured at all? That would be a huge miss if no, not really. Bro, Daichi Kamada is a baller, man. I love him. I didn't realize how good he was until the West Ham game. And he was just cooking them. So Kostic is obviously close to West Ham. And, bro, if they can get 20 million for Kostic, that's good business. Because they're trying to get rid of him. They're offering him away because he wants to leave, but then they have players to replace him with. They're going to rely on players like Kamada to do more. Junior Dina Mbimbe. So that's a central midfielder from PSG. They're looking at him. So they're actually trying to sign more players, dude. Ndika to Milan. Dude, I actually hope that doesn't happen. I'd love Evan Ndika to stay in the Bundesliga, man. We need some. You always need players like that. No, I didn't say he was on Son's level. I said he should be on Son's level if he played for a big club. And by what I meant is he should be on that recognition. Like the Korean people see Son like that. Like he's amazing. I think he should be on that, similar level with Japan. Because, the only Japanese player I know is Tomiyasu. What other Japan national team players do you know? Actually, did any Asian teams make it to the World Cup? No, of course they did. But, actually, Japan has some bowlers. You got, Kubo, the dude that was supposed to be the next Messi at Barca, ended up going to Real Madrid. No, he was supposed to be the next Messi at Real Madrid, and he's just not Messi. Yeah, dude. Minamino, yeah, let's be honest, he ain't up there. Tomiyasu's good. But, yeah, I think Kamada needs to play for Japan. But he doesn't even get called up. That's the problem because he plays for a Bundesliga club. That's the problem. I love how you just misinterpreted what I said. What about their dark defender? Forgot his name. Yoshida. Takeshi Usumi. Y'all trying to... These names, or are you joking with me? I don't know. I don't know that person. So, Yeah, Japan do have some good players, but I see this is what I have a problem with. I just said Kamada's a good player, and everyone's like Kamada to Bayern. So let's go through the list very quickly here, and then we can piss off and end the stream. Okay, so it was Bayern Munich to win the league. That's my prediction. And I want the Bundesliga to be competitive. I would love to lose it, to be honest. Like I would love Leipzig to take it from us. But we literally just spent 150 million. If Nagelsmann isn't top of the league in December, we're sacking him. We just spent 150 million in one window, my G. You better perform. You better bring the most out of these players. We have the best youngsters, in my opinion, all-rounded youngsters in the world. We have young defenders, old defenders. We have the old generation, but we also have a majority being a new generation. We have the most exciting left back in the world. We have a great right back now, or he can be great. Not sure if he, will immediately have that effect on the team yet. So I think it's a given that we have to win. 150 million is a lot to invest and lose the league to Leipzig, who have spent a total of 30 million on their two signings, Rom and Schlager. So, yeah, Dortmund signed some players, but the problem is I don't believe Terzic will coach them better than Tedesco. And Tedesco will squeeze wins out of tough games. Dortmund won't because they're Dortmund. They bottle things. I think Leverkusen will be there in the top fourth. Of course, they have Patrick Schick, who will give them a lot of goals and could even push them to, be first at a certain point in the season. You never know. They could go on a run. That's what Leverkusen always do. They lose a bunch of games, but they go on runs, win, lose. Leverkusen, they're never going to win the title. They're always going to be in fourth. They're never going to get to the Champions League semifinal. It's just, I think they already got to the Champions League semifinal at least once, I'm guessing. But come on. They're never cruising, man. Frankfurt, with the additions to their team, they're going to have a lot of goals in the new striker they just bought. And the players like Kamada and Kostic and Dika stay, bro, that's going to be a problematic team to face. I think they're playing Real Madrid soon. They could very well give Real Madrid some smoke. Because the way I see it is Real Madrid are a team that has won everything. They're not going to drop their mentality, but Frankfurt are a team that has won virtually nothing and will play to win. Like they will have a desire to want that. And they played like that against Barcelona. If Frankfurt could beat that Barcelona team, and not just beat them, but beat them in style and fashion in their own stadium, I think they can try and go toe-to-toe with Real Madrid. So I think, when you have that mentality in that team with what Oliver Glasner's building, they could have a decent team. Frankfurt, look, Christian Streich is always going to be a Europa League fighting for, that position manager. And actually, speaking of Freiburg, I've not looked at their transfers. Who do they get? It doesn't even matter. I think Streich will do what he does best. So they got Ginter. That's a good signing, Matthias Ginter. We were literally looking at Matthias Ginter. We went from Matthias Ginter to Matthias de Ligt. They lost Schlotterbeck for 22 million. Dude, that's good money. Did they get a center back, or do they just think we have enough? We don't need another one. They got this Ritsudone guy. Ritsudone. It's a nice name. He might be one of those players we don't know anything about, and then he just kind of pops out and starts kicking goals in left, right, and center, scoring against big teams and celebrating at the Allianz Arena with a hat trick. You never know. He's probably one of those players. You're like, who's Ritsudone guy? And he's the guy that just gets 4 goals in. So we'll see. I think he could be good for them if they're signing him for that much money. Bundesliga teams don't really spend money like that on players unless they're worth it. So I think he could be worth it. So yeah, Freiburg did some business. It doesn't matter. It's Christian Streich. He knows how to coach. He defends well, and they counterattack and they counter press well sometimes. That's what they're good at. Mönchengladbach, they lost some players, Mbolo, but they don't have the core that I think is necessary to compete for the Europa League, let alone get in there. But they will get close. FC Union Berlin signed some players, but I don't know any of them. Stuttgart have a good team, but I just think there's teams that are better. Hoffenheim lost Chris Richards, or lost out on Chris Richards, who was a good player for them. And I should see who they signed. I think we already saw that, didn't we? Oh, they did sign Kabak. Okay, so I did know who they signed. Yeah, I think they'll be in this position. Wolfsburg got a bunch of free transfers. It ain't really it. Hertha Berlin just don't move me. Augsburg will be Augsburg. Cologne will be Cologne. Mainz will be Mainz. And Werder Bremen, Schalke, and Bochum are going to be fighting relegation. Actually, I think it was unfair to Bochum because I just put them there because I know they're getting relegated. But I don't even know the players they have. They could have some ballers for all that. Never mind. They don't have any ballers. So, all right. Go celebrate your birthday. Thank you, everyone, so much for watching. Give me your predictions in the comments if you're watching this after. Manchester United is interested in loaning out Ronaldo. Why are you telling me? Mia, San Mia, and peace.